Jemele Hill covered women's basketball in the beginning of her career, and I call her a Grizzly media veteran. And she says that this moment in women's basketball has been building. But Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, well, those two, they set off this explosion of interest.
This moment in women's basketball is shape-shifting. I think a lot of us who have covered women's basketball and women's sports in particular, I think there's other sports you can point to that moment when it happened, where you saw there was a decided shifting move that took the league from one place while growing, but to an exponential growth. And I'm just really happy I was alive as someone whose first professional beat was the WNBA when I was a young Cub reporter. So what I would say is that, yeah, it's shape-shifting. It's changing not just the league, it's changing culture, it's changing the way we look at female athletes. I think the last 3 to 5 years, it was a steady increase, and then it was like, boom, the rocket hit.
The WNBA is in its 28th season, but if you start to think about it, some would say it feels as if history is repeating itself. Jemele reminds us that the NBA, where the men play, wasn't always a ratings juggernaut.
People often forget just how poorly the NBA was thought of. Before Magic and Bird kind of took the lead to another level, you're talking about, finals games being on tape delay, David Stern having to deal with the reputation that the NBA was full of junkies and they had a massive drug problem in the league. They had a lot of stuff going on, and really they were very concerned whether or not it'd be financially solvent. Magic and Bird, when they came along, they weren't ready. They were still on tape delay. They weren't ready for that, but they adapted and they adjusted.
You used the word detonated when she arrived. What is it about Caitlin Clark that changed the landscape of women's basketball?
So it's a combination of factors, and I do hope people focus on the fact I said combination, okay? Because I have realized in talking about her in the past that people only hear the trigger word.
I don't really hear the noise. I just come here and play basketball every single day, and that's what I focus on.
I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport.
Don Staley isn't wrong. Caitlin Clark has lifted the sport, and it was good to hear her say it. But it's not just because Caitlin's a great player. There are so many other factors that have been ignored.
She is playing like Steph Curry. It's her whole narrative. It's her whole story. It's like the way she plays, the style, coming from Iowa. And while Iowa basketball has its own culture, and it certainly have had other players, but I think when you come from Iowa, there's an underdog nature to that. You're not from LA. You're not from, New York, a known basketball entity. You're from Iowa, right? And that's a place that from a national level isn't always seen. It's overlooked. It's in the Midwest, right? So where she is, and then she's straight and she's white. And all of those factors, her talent leads first, and she broke a lot of very important records. And then once you start getting to the subgroup and the nuance, you see how that all appeals. But when it hit the fan is when suddenly there's a foe, right? And I think that's why people make the comparison so much to Bird and Magic. They needed each other. It's like Superman needed Lex Luthor. The Batman needed the Joker. And I don't mean to put Angel Reese in some kind of villainous role, because I don't consider her a villain, but I think every great player needs a foil. They need a foil, right? And,
a foil meaning someone to say, yeah, you're great, but I'm just as good.
But
a foil meaning to say, right. I have just as many tricks.
Correct. A foil that can take something from you that people think you deserve. Like Magic needed Bird to take things from him, to take Rookie of the Year, to take championships. He needed that to become a great player. And he talks about it all the time. Larry Bird needed the same thing.
Why? What did Magic take from Bird?
Championships. They were both duking it out for who was going to be the best player of that generation. And, they're the two most successful franchises in NBA history. They needed that. Yin needs yang, all right? And so I
twins need twins. Yeah.
Shout out to the yin yang twins.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, it's like Drake needs Kendrick. Ooh. Kendrick needs Drake.
Drake needs Kendrick.
I'm saying.
Drake needs Kendrick.
This is what it takes. It's like, if you don't
Just as a reminder.
Yes,
sir.
If you need somebody who's going to say, like, I got to take it from him. And, you know, I'll relate it back to your favorite player and mine, Isaiah Thomas.
Now, if anybody knows either of us, that is false. Magic is my favorite. Kobe is my favorite, but if we talk about that era, Magic is my favorite.
But Isaiah, he needed Magic.
He did, and vice versa.
Yes, he needed that foil that was going to get him there.
Which is why people are like, who was Magic's?
And Michael Jordan needed the Pistons.
I mean, excuse me. Michael Jordan's. Who was Michael Jordan's foil in real time? For how long in a real way?
Well, see, the thing is like, you know, because of the way we were beating Jordan down, you can all look it up, people. It's like, I'm not making this up.
Let me tell you something.
We did beat Michael Jordan down.
Okay.
We did.
Well, once he got past y'all, it was no looking back. It didn't. It wasn't like y'all had a dynasty. Y'all didn't have a dynasty. It wasn't like y'all got 17 chips. You don't have 17 banners hanging in your arena in Detroit. Okay, what you got? 4? 6?
We have 3.
Oh, thank you. And I was being kind.
Yes, and 2 of those we beat the Lakers.
Okay, that's fine, but we still got 17. We should. So what you telling me is we should have 19. We should have 19 is what you telling me. We gave y'all 2 just for charity.
Who has the?
It was rigged. Fake news. It was fake.
Most NBA championships now for a franchise. I believe it's Boston. Is that who it is?
They got us this year. God bless y'all, but we'll be back.
Isaiah needed Larry Bird.
Okay.
They need.
This is not about us.
It's not about us, but it is about us. The whole point is, the beauty of sports is seeing the athletes go on the journey. Peyton Manning needed Tom Brady.
Talk about it. Who Tom
needed him?
Who Tom need?
I mean, well, considering how well he needed Eli Manning.
Yeah,
we gotta keep Tom.
But
humble.
if we like, it's almost like saying Detroit needed the Lakers. They didn't, and so we had Boston Celtics, and we still do. They keep us humble. You
need something that creates the inertia and the tension. And the thing is now, and I think both players, even though they play different positions, both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, I would not believe either of them if they said they were not paying attention to what the other one was doing.
Oh, gosh.
Especially, you know, we go through that stretch where Angel has like double on double on double.
14 straight, I think. Something
and then
that's
Caitlin
sick.
Is, I think the last regular season game, as we're recording this, she had a WNBA record 19 assists. Like they're every week they're topping each other.
They're watching.
They're absolutely watching.
And by the way, if they say they're not competing, and anyone who's watching this suggesting that we're pitting them against another, then they shouldn't be playing pro. Like, because as a professional, your job is to compete at the highest of levels.
And you're checking what other people are doing.
And you're also wanting to be better because you need, to your point, it's a foil in which she needs. Angel Reese, how would you describe her as a foil?
I mean, I think Angel, the what I love about watching her play, and even her demeanor in general, like she is a ride or die. Like I look at how her teammates respond to her, and even though she's a rookie and there's veteran leadership that she has on her team, I look at the relationship she has with Teaspoon, who was an amazing player, one of the grittiest, dynamic players the league has ever had. Like Teaspoon didn't play no games, right? And it's not surprising to me that she's like an amazing coach. But looking at the relationship she has with Kennedy Carter and Cardosa and like all the players, even the vets on that team, you can even tell this at LSU, like she is the emotional thermometer. It's her. And the way she carries herself, she's still got a lot to learn, of course, but she plays with a fire and a passion every single play. That's hard to teach. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to teach.
Kelsey Plum, the 2-time WNBA champion with the Las Vegas Aces, gives her take on Angel Reese.
People feel insecure. When you have like a strong Black woman that's confident in herself and knows what she's talking about, and she's just saying what she feels, I think a lot of people were like, whoa, like, how do I feel about this?
You never walk away from seeing her play and think, she ain't give enough. You never walk away thinking that about her. So it's like the tenacity like just jumps off the page to me. And I think as she figures out her offensive identity, she's going to be a real problem. She already a problem now. Mm-hmm. But she's going to be a real problem. And she's somebody you could definitely see winning an MVP one day, like getting all the awards. And now I think people want to see how this turns out. They want to see between her and Caitlin who wins the championship first, who gets an MVP first.
Who gets Rookie of the Year?
Who gets Rookie of the Year? I mean, we're in that right now. It's like, yeah. And you talk to players once they're out of the league and then they're able to be more honest about how they felt in these moments. Again, like they're going to probably give us the whole, it's great to be considered. Like, no. They're trying to beat each other for this award.